All right, peace and love. Happy summer solstice. Happy Father's Day if you're a father. Today, my intention in going live is to share one of my newest creations and to do a live reading of the first chapter of my book. It's called Hieros Gamos, The Sacred Union. And before I officially start reading, I want to share a little backstory with you of what inspired this book and, just to share a little bit more. So, I'm a seven of heart in the Cards of Destiny system, and this is a very ancient and pretty accurate system used for divination, to know oneself better, and really to tap into these cosmic energies and archetypes that are hidden in the 52 deck of playing cards. So in that system, I'm a seven of heart, and sevens is a spiritual number, and hearts is all about love, love, relationships, and love. For the seven of hearts, it's all about spiritual love and learning how to love unconditionally and to give without attachment. So that has been a lesson I've been on my whole life, and knowing how to love without attachment, without grasping, and having to really learn some very hard lessons through relationships. And it's been beautiful, it's been challenging, and it has given me so much insight and wisdom, and it has helped me grow so much on a spiritual, personal level, on so many levels. And it's a part of what inspired me to write this book. So many of us go through life, naturally looking for love and fulfillment outside of ourselves. And we spend so much time putting our energy out into the world, and we forget that everything that we seek is within us. If we're able to come to stillness, if we're able to move through the trauma, the drama, and the things that are distracting our consciousness, taking our energy so that we cannot have access to that love, that bliss, that joy, that peace that we naturally are. So through my journey and process over this 20 years of relating, of reconnecting, and of reweaving and remembering these ancient knowledge systems, it has inspired me to share my journey and my experience and the wisdom that I've come to embody in the way that I feel called to. And it's through using my voice as a channel and utilizing technology to reach more people. So I hope that resonates with you. We are all on this spiritual journey. We're all on this journey. And the more that we have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, compassion, and love, not only for ourselves, but for those that we are connected to, that we can grow and evolve and be the people, be the love, be the change, peace and love in the world that is necessary to create the shift, the mass awakening that is happening. But in this process of creating this new reality, we're in like the birthing canal. And a lot of what we thought to be true, it's like shaking and breaking up, because we're awakening from the illusionment that many of us have brought into through this system. The many of the things that we've been taught in school, in our family systems, in society in general, it is not making sense, and it is not no longer vibrating at the frequency where it is being of service to you. So you feel that as a level of dissatisfaction. The things that used to maybe bring you joy or hit is just not hitting the same. So you're called to go deeper, no longer to be superficial and stay on the surface. You're called to go deeper, and that requires you to look at yourself and do a certain level of healing, to be accountable so that you can change your lived reality. Many of us have not been taught how to be accountable. Many of us have not been taught how to sit with and witness our process and our pain. We haven't been taught how to work with our emotions and our thoughts and how to focus our energy, not let our energy be drained by the 1,001 things that can drain our energy, including people, including the media, including our own lower nature and unhealed parts of ourselves that we have not come to love and integrate. So these are some of the things that inspired me to write this book. A long time ago, I asked my guides, I asked Spirit, like, I've been on this journey and so many things have helped me to awaken and heal. And I was really wondering, like, what are the things that a person needs to know to awaken to their divinity? And not only awaken to it, because so many times we have knowledge, we have the information, but we're not practicing and living it. So now we're called to go beyond, philosophy and mental masturbation and of knowing something to actually living and deeply embodying it. So this is why I wrote this book, inspired by my own journey, my own healing, my own pain, my own heartbreak, my own things that I've gone through. And over the years, I've had the blessing and opportunity and honor to be able to hold space for others, to be able to be a counselor, to be a guide, a mentor, a healer, and facilitator. So I've talked to many people about relationships, about healing, and I've seen consistent patterns that really informed what I wrote about in this book, not only in my experience, but in so many other people's experience with relationships, with healing, all these things. So without further ado, I would like to get into the chapter. If you're new here, my name is Shanika Malcolm. Some of you might know me from Naked and Afraid, season 14, episode 1, or maybe my second challenge in Africa. I currently live in Colombia with my 3 beautiful daughters, and I operate Motherful Colombia, which is a nonprofit that supports the rematriation of the planet, right? The honoring of mothers, supporting, loving, and holding up mothers, uniting, helping to bring about healing, change, planetary liberation, planetary regeneration. You can see me here in the garden. And this is where I live. This is the temple and community space, Motherful Colombia, where I host people to come for healing, for community, for connection, and to remember that they are a part of nature and to reconnect with the divinity and the wisdom and the love that is within them. So without further ado, let me see if I can make this into full screen so that you can just see the cover. Let me turn this around. All right, so here is the cover of the book. Hieros Gamos. Hieros Gamos, the path of inner union and sacred relationship. So I recently released this book, and I haven't been promoting it as much as is necessary because I've been really busy with life in general. But now I'm being called to, I'm actually recording the audio, an audio podcast. And when you purchase the book, the ebook, you'll have the opportunity to upgrade and also purchase the audio video book at a discounted cost. So this first video is me reading chapter 1 in the introduction, and to give you a taste of the deliciousness that is Hieros Gamos. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you're here in the chat, comment and let me know where you're viewing from. And if you've ever heard the word Hieros Gamos, all right? Because the word Hieros Gamos is a sacred and ancient word. And another reason why I wrote this book is because maybe about 2 months ago now, I came into proximity with someone that felt like a very ancient connection. And we spent time together. And one time we were meditating together, working with the polarity and masculine and feminine energy. And as I was meditating, the word Hieros Gamos dropped into my consciousness. And because of my previous study in history, I knew what this word meant, and it kind of just activated this memory within me, and it also inspired me to sit down and write this workbook. So it's not only a book because it has the knowledge and information in there, but it's a workbook because it has exercise. It has journal prompts, somatic practices for you to be able to go beyond reading to actually embodying and getting more out of this workbook than just reading and taking in information passively. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to get started with reading the book. So remember that you can click the link in my bio, go purchase the book. Your first invitation is just to be present and to listen. Be open, receptive, and listen. So this is Hieros Gamos, the path of inner union and sacred relationship. So here's a table of content. We first start with the introduction called The Remembering. Chapter 1 is the original sin, and this deals with separation, fragmentation, fear, conditioning, and the inner split. Chapter 2 is called The Blueprint of Love, and it deals with attachment, childhood conditioning, emotional imprinting, and relationship patterns. Very interesting stuff. Chapter 3 is called Projection, Perception, and the Stories We Live Inside. So this chapter deals with projection, fantasy, emotional memory, perception, and unconscious narratives or stories that we live out. Chapter 4 is called The Body Remembers, and this deals with the nervous system, emotional regulation and storage, embodiment and healing through the body. Chapter 5 is called The Wounded Feminine, and this deals with self-abandonment, intuition, boundaries, overgiving, and feminine healing. Chapter 6 is called The Wounded Masculine, and this deals with avoidance, emotional separation, grounding, integrity, presence, and masculine healing. Chapter 7 is called Sexual Energy, Intimacy, and Conscious Creation. This chapter deals with sacred sexuality, life force energy, conscious intimacy, and co-creation. Chapter 8 is called Sacred Relationship, and this deals with conscious partnership, communication, emotional maturity, boundaries, and relational healing. Chapter 9 is called The Inner Marriage, and this is where I talk about more about Hieros Gamos, sacred union, integration, coherence, and heart-centered consciousness. Chapter 10 is called Ancestral Patterns, Energetic Inheritance, and the Chakra System. So this deals with lineage healing, inherited emotional patterns, energetic memory, and spiritual embodiment. Chapter 11 is called Love as Consciousness, and this deals with fear versus love, states of consciousness, awareness, coherence, and living from the heart. Chapter 12 is called Returning to the Earth, and this deals with nature, embodiment, collective healing, ecology, mycelial consciousness, and reconnection to life. Chapter 13 is called Community, Love, and the Collective, and this deals with conscious community, relational healing, interdependence, collective transformation, and planetary love. I'm burning I'm burning some copal here, but it's really strong. So it's kind of giving me a little so I'm going to move it just a little bit further away so I'm not being affected by it so much for some reason. Okay. Then we continue with what is called Beyond the Workbook, an invitation into remembrance. And then we also have a closing visualization of the global mycelium network, which you are a part of. So let's keep going. Introduction, the remembering. Before we begin, I want to meet you here as a human being, not only as a guide or teacher, but as someone who has walked this path and is still walking it. This work did not come to me through study alone. It came through heartbreak, through relationships that reflected parts of myself that I hadn't faced yet, through giving more than I received, staying longer than I should have, and confusing longing with love, through being confronted again and again with the same emotional pain wearing different faces. For a long time, I thought I was simply unlucky in love. Can you believe that? But eventually, I began to see the truth. The relationships changed, but the emotional experiences remained the same. Different person, same wound. That realization became the doorway into much deeper work. I began to understand that the way we love as adults is often shaped long before romance ever enters our lives. Let me keep reading. Okay. These early experiences shape the nervous system. So I'm just going to go back. I began to understand that the way we love as adults is often shaped long before romance ever enters our life. Before our first relationship, many of us were already learning what love feels like, whether if it's safe, whether it stays, whether we have to earn it, whether we are truly seen, whether we are allowed to fully be ourselves. Those early experiences shape the nervous system, the heart, the subconscious mind, and the emotional body. Without realizing it, many of us spend years recreating familiar emotional dynamics, hoping to finally receive what we once longed for. This is why awareness alone is not enough. Many people know their patterns. They know they overgive, ignore red flags, choose emotionally unavailable people, or betray their intuition. Yet they continue repeating the same cycles. Why? Because the issue is not simply intellectual. It is embodied, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. Something deeper is happening beneath the surface. At the core of this work is the understanding that many of us are living in a state of inner fragmentation. Part of us longs for love, while another part fears it. Part of us desires intimacy, while another part learns to protect itself from vulnerability. Part of us remembers the truth, while another part has become organized around survival. This is the inner split, and it affects far more than our relationships. It shapes our nervous system, our sexuality, our self-worth, our emotional patterns, our connection to spirit, our ability to trust, and our sense of belonging in the world. Many spiritual traditions speak about this fragmentation in different ways. Some describe it as separation from the divine, others as ego, illusion, or the forgetting of our true nature. But beneath the different languages is the same essential truth. Love is our natural state. Fear is what we learned through separation. This workbook is rooted in the understanding that healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before fear taught you to disconnect from yourself. I'm going to read that again. It is about remembering who you were before fear taught you to disconnect from yourself. This is the path of sacred union, the divine marriage within, not merely between man and woman, but between the masculine and feminine principles that exist within all of us. The masculine within us brings direction, protection, discernment, integrity, grounded action, and structure. The feminine within us brings intuition, feeling, softness, receptivity, creativity, embodiment, and connection. In wholeness, these energies move together, but when wounded, both become distorted. The masculine disconnected from the heart may seek control, avoidance, emotional suppression, or performance without presence. The feminine disconnected from truth may collapse into overgiving, attachment, emotional chaos, or the loss of self in pursuit of love. These distortions shape not only individuals, but relationships, families, communities, and the world itself. We see the consequences everywhere: burnout, loneliness, emotional numbness, relational suffering, spiritual emptiness. And yet beneath all of this, something within us still remembers. We feel it in our longing for intimacy, our desire for peace, our ache to be fully seen and loved, our hunger for home, our yearning to live differently. That longing is sacred, because what we seek externally is often pointing us toward what longs to be restored internally. This workbook is not about perfection. It's about reunification, the restoration of relationship within yourself, the reconciliation of love and truth, heart and mind, body and spirit, softness and strength, surrender and structure, and both the human and the divine. This is not a journey of bypassing pain. It is a journey of becoming conscious enough to stop abandoning yourself within it. I'll say that again. This is not a journey of bypassing pain. It is a journey of becoming conscious enough to stop abandoning yourself within it. Throughout this workbook, you'll be invited to explore your patterns, understand your emotional conditioning, recognize your projections, reconnect to your body, and restore truth within your nervous system, and begin embodying love in a deeper and more grounded way, not as fantasy or performance, but as deep, lived, and embodied truth. This work may ask you to confront parts of yourself you have spent years avoiding. Your grief, your wounds, your defenses, your fears around love, your tendency to settle, your patterns of self-protection, your longing to be chosen. But it will also reconnect you with something deeper: your intuition, your self-worth, your capacity for intimacy, your inner strength, your softness, your spirit, and the love that has always existed beneath the fear. At one point in my life, I did not fully realize how disconnected I had become because survival had become normal. Anxiety felt normal, emotional overwhelm felt normal, self-abandonment felt normal, overthinking felt normal, longing felt normal, living disconnected from my body felt normal, and being emotionally exhausted while still continuing to push forward felt normal. I had moments of happiness, inspiration, pleasure, connection, and love. But underneath much of my life, there was often tension in my body, emotional heaviness, nervous system dysregulation, fear, grief, confusion, longing, and a quiet disconnection from myself. And slowly, through healing, embodiment, spiritual practice, nervous system work, honesty, grief, movement, breath, stillness, awareness, and learning how to stop abandoning myself, something began changing. I started feeling more present, more grounded, more connected to my body, more emotionally clear, more heart open, more alive, more at peace within myself. Life began feeling different. Not perfect, but deeper. Softer, more beautiful, more connected, and more meaningful. I began realizing that many of us have normalized suffering to such a degree that we no longer remember how good it is possible to feel. As energy becomes less consumed by fear, survival, emotional suppression, self-abandonment, and inner fragmentation, life force begins freeing itself within us. Our body softens and has more vitality. The heart opens, presence deepens, creativity returns, intuition strengthens, love flows more naturally, and joy becomes more accessible. We become less consumed by surviving and more available for truly living and thriving. This work is not only about healing wounds, it's about restoring connection to yourself, to life, to love, and to the deeper intelligence moving through you. Because when we begin healing and restoring coherence within ourselves, we naturally begin creating differently. We love differently, relate differently, parent differently, we work differently, lead differently, and we build differently. What we create from fear is different, very different from what we create from love, presence, coherence, devotion, and truth. And perhaps this is part of the deeper purpose of healing, not simply to suffer less, but to become clearer channels for love, creativity, consciousness, beauty, purpose, and life itself. You are not broken for struggling. You adapted in survival. You adapted to survive in a fragmented world, but survival is not the same as wholeness. And something within you already knows this. That knowing is why you are here. Before you continue, before you continue, before moving into the first chapter, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Allow yourself to fully inhale, expand your lower abdomen, fill up with air. And as you exhale, letting go of all tension, letting go of all worry, place one hand on your heart and ask yourself, what is calling me into this work? What am I ready to understand, heal, release, or remember? Take another deep breath. What would it mean to truly return to myself? You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need all the answers right now. You only need one thing, willingness. The willingness to see yourself honestly, to feel what you have been avoiding, to stop abandoning yourself, to allow love, truth, and awareness to guide your healing. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you have always been beneath the fear. When you're ready, continue. So that is the end of the introduction. So this is the end of the introduction. I will continue to read the book. So what I'm doing now is sharing the introduction with you so you get a feel of what this book is about and to help you, to motivate you to want to continue to read or listen to this book, right? There is a link here that says get the book here. You just click there and you get my book. Artists, creatives, healers, this is our offering to the world. So everything I create and offer is a love offering, and I call for reciprocity, and this is how I create abundance for myself. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed the introduction enough to click that link and purchase the ebook. Like I said, you can upgrade and get the Audible book or the audio video, because I'll be reading each chapter. I'm going to aim to record one chapter a day over the next 2 weeks. So as you go through this book, you'll have this audio, and you can continue this work at your own pace. At the end of every chapter, there is, after you read the chapter, there is a reflection. So there's questions that you're asked for you to reflect and journal about. There's a somatic awareness practice where I'm leading you through some kind of practice or focus or meditation. And then there's also an integration practice. So this will be something to do over a few days to more solidify and embody this knowledge, and to keep practicing and building coherence. So I'm grateful for you for listening. I'd love to know how this introduction called The Remembering sound to you, and if you are going to click and get the book. This was a labor of love, and I'm very proud of this creation, and it's my desire, it is my intention to get this book, this ebook, this workbook to 1,000 people, at least 1,000 people, over the next course of this month. So I hope that you'll be one of those people to get the book and to do this much deeper healing work that is necessary for the transformation, the healing, the transition that this planet is in at this time. So the more of us that do this work, raise our awareness, heal, embody our natural and divine essence, begin to come into deeper levels of alignment and connect to our soul and our higher selves, and begin to live our divinity and actualize it in the physical world. The more of us do this work and really come on the path of our purpose and how we want to be of service in the world, this is how we transform this planet from, the chaos, from all of the things that we see and do not enjoy and not in alignment with, did not give consent to. We want to change those things, but the change also always starts within us. And I'm being the change by living this path, being on this journey for these last 20 years, having awakened and being called to be of service and to share this level of consciousness, my creativity, and my way of being of service with the world. So I thank you. I want to wish you a happy, happy, happy summer solstice. I've been inside most of the day now, so I want to get out. I want to go by the water. I would like to go hang out with my friends around the fire, and I'd like to go do some dancing. Actually, my friend is having a dance class in exactly 4 minutes. If I leave now and ride really fast on my bike, I might be only 5 minutes late. So I am grateful for all of you for spending the time and listening to this first introduction chapter of my audiobook. Sending you so much love on this beautiful summer solstice. And that also aligns on Father Day, which I want to call a Healthy Masculine Day, because all fathers are not created equally. And if you're embodying that healthy masculine energy and showing up for your children consistently and being of service, not dominating, not controlling, being of service and protecting. I honor you, and I'm grateful for your service. Sending y'all so much love.